Hello, and welcome to the next episode of Making Mannequin Heads into Planters. This is episode 80 something. Wow. Crazy, right? Crazy. So we're getting almost done, getting to the point where we're almost done with the Mannequin Heads series. Yay! So you can see I just did my hair. I was thinking it was going to be more purple than blue. It is definitely very, 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 very blue. So, and it's very dark. I kind of like it. It's fun. It's wacky. It's shiny. That's for sure. It'll fade. We'll see. So my forehead seems to be getting larger as I get older. Is that possible? Maybe. But still got hair, so that's all that matters. Not really, it doesn't actually matter at all. But I still got hair, however important that may be to people. So what was I thinking? So next thing that we're going to be doing, I'm actually going to show you, that last episode. I do apologize. My phone ran out of juice and I didn't realize it. So when I went to turn it off, it was suddenly like, oh, I looked up to say hello and I was like, blank screen. Oh, shit. Oops, excuse me, shoot. Ran out of power. So I got a ton of work done and it was just basically continuing the work that I had done, putting on another coat where I put coats on before and yada, yada, and continuing. So beautiful, looks cool on the back. Yeah. So it's all done. And I like it. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. I did find that iridescent pearl and the silver are like basically the same. When you see them next to each other on this side, yeah, one of those is iridescent pearl and the other one is silver. Oh well, whatever. It's cool. I think it's one of the best ones so far. So it's doing very well. I just took a nap. So I'm all like, waking up. I gotta sing later. So today we're gonna be emptying out, hollowing out the head. So this is going to be a little trickier holding on to this while I do this. But trowel, no, it's a palette knife. And I'm just cutting directly into it. What's nice about this head is, and I don't know why this is, but it just is, the foam is sort of more, not brittle, I wouldn't say, but drier, less soft is basically where I'm going. Remember, whenever you're doing this and you're cutting into any of the foam filling for the head, you need to be very careful. I need to be very careful not to go through an outer wall. Remember that one that I was doing? Recent head went right out through the back. Yeah, it's scary. And remember the Medusa one with all the hair, the long hair that was braided. What happened with her was that I was handling her so hard, well, and all the other ones for that matter. And the paint was coming off the back of the head and stuff. So you got to be careful, very careful as you're doing this. I can't hold on to the top because I'm going to smush the foam. So this is, as we talked about, this is what happens when I don't hollow it out before I do all the work on the rest of it. So it's all right. It'll all work out. So what's nice is that this knife has such a great angle to it that it cuts through this stuff really beautiful. So I'm gonna bring my trash can over here. Oh golly, it's filled with lots of clay stuff. So I've been trimming and working on clay. Careful not to hit that stuff. And so doing a lot of sanding, trimming, carving, yada yada. And I can really only hold on to her face. So, gotta be careful how I grab her. Him, they, them. Oop, there we go. There we go. Nice. And here we go. So I'm gonna scoop out head matter. There we go. With my fingers from here on out. I'm gonna cut, so I cut this way. Now I'm gonna cut across this way so that it's basically squares. Being careful not to go out through the sidewall. And I am gonna take the foam out as far down as possible. I'm gonna go in as far as possible. Now, why is that? Because I've discovered with using them, look at that, right across, there we go. With using them, that the head cavity for the plants, the hollow cavity really needs to be, come on, as large as possible for the roots and soil. At first, I was thinking that it wasn't gonna need to be that much, but there we go, that's better. I was wrong. It's a good lesson to learn. All right, we're learning as we go. There we go. Going in at an angle on these sides because it's popping little bits out because I'm undercutting. Isn't that awesome? Ta-da. All right, get all the way up here. There we go. And these pieces should now start coming right out. Keep holding it this way so you can see there. There we go. Look at this. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. Look at this. Oh, there we go. That was so satisfying. Love it. And holding on the face, on the front, and then scooping out. So I think if I were to do these, I think my suggestion to you, while with this experience, the lesson learned, is if I were to do more of these, ooh, that was a big chunk, I would definitely not do things in this order. I would definitely hollow out the head first. This experiment was very, very successful in showing us not to do it this way. I always thought that was, I remember actually the aha moment that I had in high school when they taught us about hypotheses and yada yada, and that it wasn't about proving your hypothesis necessarily correct. It was about exploring the hypothesis. You put an idea out there and then you explore it. You basically say, I think, let's look at this. Will this do this? That this should do this, or this might do this. And then you go and you explore different ideas behind it, different approaches, all of that good stuff, right? And you find out what you find out. You don't sit there and go, oh, I failed because I proved my hypothesis, my postulation was wrong. On the contrary, if you can actually hypothesize something, so think about something and go, I think it's probably going to work this way, but you find out that it absolutely doesn't work that way, then you're just as far ahead because you know for sure that way doesn't work. So it's like, yay. Okay, well, I know that way doesn't work. Now I can try another way, right? Try a different approach. So we had the other approach. I wanted to see whether or not this one would work, and there's no way to know if this was going to work unless I tried it. I keep on talking about, gotta try things to know whether or not they're gonna work or if you like them. It's one of the reasons that I've done so many things in my life. My go-to, and I know this is not normal. Other people are very different from me. But my go-to answer, my instant answer is, and it's not always like this. I got to in a period of my life where it wasn't, but my go-to answer is, yeah, Do you want to do this? Yeah. I mean, why would I say no? Unless it's something like dangerous or whatever, like really dangerous. But even just saying, oh, maybe, let's look at it. Let's, and leaving it as a possibility. Or me going, I wonder how this is. And not ruling things out before I've given them, it's getting stacky in here, up in her. Before I've given them a consideration, an actual like solid consideration. So if you rule everything out before you really look at it or really think about it, then your life is based in no. Now, I don't want my life to be based in no, like N-O, not K-N-O-W. Because I can't K-N-O-W if I say N-O all the time. Wow, that was a good one, right? Right? That was pretty good. I can't K-N-O-W if I always say N-O, or if that is my baseline. So instead, my baseline is sure. I'm not going to necessarily say yes, but I'll say yes at first. Do you want to? It depends on how the question is postulated. I like that word. That's the second time I've used it now. Postulation. So it's, how do you ask me the question? It's like, do you want to do this? It's like, I'm going to sit there and go, let me consider it. Give me a minute. I'm not going to say no and then go, oh, wait, maybe. I was for a while getting that way. And can't really, I think it was probably COVID time where everybody was no. Yeah. Do you want to go outside? No. Do you want to be around people? No. Do you want to do this? No. Do you want to do that? No. Everything was a no. Everything was a, we were all protecting our lives, quite honestly. And my thought process was that, holy shit, if, I don't know. I'm going to work from a place of fear instead of a place of wanting to learn or wanting to find out more. So instead of coming from a place of basic fear, fundamental fear, which I understand a lot of people come from, I really do. I think we have to consciously work toward coming from a place of inquiry, coming from a place of curiosity. That's the word I want. And saying, I don't know. Let's think about it. How would we do that? Do you want to do this, or would this be interesting to you? Well, that sounds cool. Oh. And you may at first, I often will be like, oh God, I don't want to do that. That's natural, It's but I love sitting at home in front of the fireplace. Why would I do anything else? and then you find that those options dwindle when that's always your response. My whole thing was, I don't want people to stop asking me to do things. I don't want my opportunities to diminish and diminish and diminish, to do things that are potentially fun or exciting or different and wacky and to explore so many different aspects of life and adventure and potential and things like that. So, and the majority of my life has been and I've recognized this, has been if I'm offered the opportunity to do something, my basic answer is, that'd be cool. Or, yeah, let me try it. Or, okay. And then I work my ass off once I've got that opportunity. It's not like you get offered these things and then you don't work for it. So, an example. When I was a kid, I was 16, and Mom and Dad, were supportive of me going to France and taking a trip to France, and going and visiting and staying there for a little bit, and staying there for a while when I was 16, and visiting and being in La Vendue, which is by Saint-Tropez, and spending time there. And if I'd said, oh no, no, instead of taking them up, or following through on that sense of adventure and doing what I needed to do, I was like, heck yes. I mean, that would be awesome. We had a French exchange student, and then I got to go there because he had stayed with us. And I don't remember which direction it was. If he stayed with us first and then I went, or the other way around. I actually don't remember. Wasn't really, timelines are difficult for me as to remembering, how long ago things were, unless it was like certain years. I remember I was 16 because it was 1986. But anyway, so, and then things happened after that or before that, whatever. I remember the experiences very well. It was super fun. I had a blast. The adventure was absolutely incredible. I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about French culture, French people. I learned a lot about women with no bikini tops and no, big, topless beaches, which was just crazy. Learned about that I definitely was more into boys than I was into girls, and that French boys were definitely my jam. I was like, holy shit, yes. I was like, French girls, no tops on. Meh, not really. French boys in Speedos, hell yes. And it's just so funny because it's just like, okay, ding, ding, ding. Yep, definitely super gay. Definitely confirmed that there's nothing going on when the girl walks by and she doesn't have a top on, but holy shit, boys with no shirts on and boys in Speedos, yes. Especially at 16, as you can imagine. It was a great experience. I had a blast. I took all the advantage of the experience that I could. I took, surfboarding lessons and helicopter ride, and I mean, just a million billion things that I did while I was there. I went down and got bread every morning. I would go running on the beach every day. I was never a runner until then, and just really absolutely loved the culture. I loved the people. I met a ton of people of all different ages and types and statuses, and I mean, it was just an amazingly maturing experience and confidence building experience. I did some wacky adventures while I was there that if I were my parents, and if my parents are watching this, I skipped until the next section. If I'd known, I mean, my parents didn't know that I was doing some of these crazy shit that I did. But if I had known, if I had been my parents and had known the shit, or if my parents had known the shit that I was doing, some of it, they would have been like, what the hell? They would have been so nervous and never let me out of the house again. But my parents trusted me that I wasn't going to be doing really stupid shit. I never did any really stupid shit. I did some rather very stupid shit, but luckily, being a boy, the rules were all different than for my sisters. My sisters, it was very much not being able to have some of these opportunities because they were girls and they needed to be more protected. And I agree. At that time, it was a very different world. Just as a guy, I was just immediately less in danger generally than if I had been a woman. Very weird, and I appreciated that and I understood it the entire time. That, it was definitely color of my skin made my life so much easier than other people from other cultures and who look differently from me, and I've always been very aware of that, and a lot of the opportunities I had were simply because I'm a tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed white guy. Most of my modeling jobs were because of exactly that, and because, oddly enough, what I was constantly told was that because I looked like Joe Schmo's uncle, or Joe Schmo's uncle's cousin, or so-and-so, it's sort of that all-American generic look. I wasn't overly handsome. I wasn't, I was very thin at the time when I was modeling a lot and when I was doing a lot of TV, but I was very not striking handsome, but I was handsome enough, just enough to get the jobs, and to not be distractingly handsome. It was just kind of funny, it's like the reality feedback that you get when you get into doing any sort of television or any modeling, any kind of modeling, when people look at you as an item, which women get all the time, but as a guy, it's a very like, oh, this is weird. A director is looking at you literally not as a person, but as a thing. And especially in TV, in print work, it was interesting to have that experience of, they couldn't care less what my name was, as long as I could do certain things, look a certain way, and do other things. But those opportunities came to me because of all of this, which has aged okay, but compared to when I was younger, it's just kind of funny. But France was, that opportunity. To go at 16 was spectacular, and I'm just absolutely amazed that my parents were so trusting and confident, and I can't imagine what they went through while I was gone. Now that I know, it's like having, 2 nephews and a niece, and they're not even, my kids, but, they kind of are, they're family kids. So my parents are both only children, so I never had aunts or uncles. Both only children means that you don't have aunts and uncles, and we didn't have first cousins. We didn't have cousins that were close. So if you're not a child of 2 only children, you have a different experience than we did. And we're really lucky to have very doting grandparents, and incredibly adventurous parents who were, so artistic and so talented and brilliant and beautiful people who instilled in us this confidence to do what we dreamed to do, with a good dose of reality that it needed to be something that could support you, as I've mentioned in the past. So, but it was, so those opportunities for me were extraordinary, and my answer, or my go-to, and this is, I think, because this was instilled by, obviously, my parents, my go-to answer has always been, for the most part, yes. Do you want to try this? Sure. Do you want to do that? Yes. I mean, that can be dangerous when people are offering you things that are not healthy for yourself. So there was a golden rule in our family that was very well articulated by my mother, most frequently by my mother. Oh, Willie's on his way down. Will, did you just open the door?
Willie!
Hey, you are not minding. Hey, go on.
Hey,
I'll be right back. Well, that was an adventure. So that was Willoughby making his rounds and trying to get down here. He's not allowed down here yet because there are too many wacky things to be exploring and too many places that he would want to probably mark because they have different smells that don't smell like him. So anyway, so yeah. So the golden rule that my mother was very clear in, with me at least, and I appreciated and it made sense to me. It kept me alive, quite honestly, through some difficult times that I was having, you know, discovering who I was and being okay with who I was and who I was becoming, was that don't ever hurt anybody, including yourself, because if you hurt yourself, you hurt other people. So that, for me, was life-changing and life-affirming, and I think she understood how much of a, and I don't think she understood maybe how impactful that was and life-changing it was for me, but it was truly an eye-opening moment for me when maybe, and I don't remember when she told it to me or articulated it so well and specifically, but it was a time in my life when I'd heard her say it before, or it had been implied before, but it was one of those things where maybe she was concerned with, you know, me going through the difficulties that I was going through and accepting myself and figuring out who I was, and sexuality, personality, artistically. She knew they always knew that I was an artistic, creative person in whatever way, all the ways. But it was, I think the timing was so amazing for her to do that, and to say that with such conviction and simplicity that was needed for me to be able to understand it and not making it into a complex thing, that I didn't want to hurt another person. And so hurting myself at that time was maybe an escape thought, right? Because I was going through all this turmoil and hormones and blah, 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 inner turmoil. But if that was going to actually hurt somebody else, for me, that wasn't an option. Especially not my parents. If it was going to hurt my parents or my sisters, then I was just like, oh, ding, ding, ding. Okay, reconsider. And for me, that was the life-changing moment. And it was a life-changing sort of mantra that happened. Kept me away from the really super stupid shit, like the major drugs and the major stupidity. I mean, I did a lot of stupid shit. Not stupid shit. I did a lot of adventures that were not safe, but I would always shy away from that over the edge. I'd go right up to it and take and dabble, but never go over the edge on it, thank God. So it led to a lot of adventures and a lot of excitement and a lot of fun and a lot of opportunities that I think I did see a lot of my friends not taking, and a lot of people I knew not taking, people especially who were sort of based in this instant knee-jerk reaction of no and then consider. It's because so many times I saw those opportunities just melt away once you initially say no, and then they became fewer and fewer. So interesting. All right, so that's big deep dive into me, right? Ta-da, look at that. Through all of that talking, it's hollow and I can move on to the next stage. This is awesome. So now, how are we doing on time? We're good. So I want to paint here and paint here, and I am going to spray paint it. I'm going to take the chance that that spray paint is going to stay on. This has got enough roughness to the surface, and these are the ends. So, but what I need to do is I do need to mask, because I want the spray paint. I want to be able to spray paint without taking a lot of what do you call it? Pains about it or whatever. About like overblowing and blah blah blah, all that stuff. So what I do need to do is I need to figure out how to mask without taking the paint off the foam. So I got to do some tests. So let's do some tests right now with this horrible. Oh no, this is the paint roll, or the tape roll that I was using to mask pottery, and I ended up cutting. I wanted to put it on and then I underglazed, but the tape, there we go. I went along and I wanted like a wavy line. So I went around and I did a wavy line cutting, and then I took the tape off and it magically had a nice wavy line cut into it. And then I put it, so one straight line and one wavy line in the middle. And then I applied it to the bowl that I had made. And it actually worked perfectly. And then I applied my underglaze and took it off and applied a different underglaze. And so it actually worked really well, but it makes it so that this roll of tape is really wonky and difficult to use. It's toward the end of the, like very end of the roll. Oh, and that is the very end of the roll. So we're gonna experiment with painter's tape. Actually, let's keep that cardboard part because I can use this to draw around. It got a lot of uses, oddly enough. There are a lot of uses that can go toward. So if I really delicately mask up here, so it goes around curves. Let's try it down here. I'm gonna try it right on the face through here. If I don't press hard, going around corners is gonna be using multiple small, shorter pieces in order to get a good line. And I don't need to press forward on this because I want to make sure that it's not, oh, and it is. Dang, that tape pulls the paint right off. Well, okay, what I'm gonna have to do then is I'm gonna have to, so the paint comes right off with the tape. Because like I mentioned, this is very, not all of the paint, but so gotta be careful with that. I've decided I'm going to overspray the entire thing with a clear lacquer. But I gotta make sure that it's the correct one. Like it's gonna need to be like an acrylic clear in order to seal everything down. Because I don't think this is gonna weather well if I leave it uncoated. So let me grab tape. I have mini rolls everywhere. And I'm just gonna work my way right around all these curves and through here. I'm gonna work my way around the ear. Now, you may say, well, you're putting tape just there, but you're gonna like spray over. What good is this gonna do, right? Well, I thought of that. Make sure I don't stick it to any of the other colors. Come on. I am going to actually tape to this tape. I'm gonna mask to this first line of tape. It's a masking trick that I had seen somebody do online for getting really good lines when working in painting trim in your house. So this edge is the only thing that really needs to be firmly down, and then I will tape to the tape, which will, I'm gonna allow me to, I'm gonna actually cut the tape in the shape that I want, pretty much the shape that I want. I need more curve. But anyway, so what it does is it allows you to get a really nice edge here, and then like I'm gonna use a piece of plastic to mask the rest of it. But I don't need to be applying, because I used to do, so this is what I used to do. I'd do drop cloths, right? Where I would put tape on the edge of the drop cloth and then try to put it up and try to get a good line. Well, you don't need to do that. You literally go around with tape, get your good clean edge, and then do another layer of tape, because you don't have to have that little clean edge, right? Oh, magic radius. Love it. So there we go. Just cut that in the shape around there. And another one up around the crescent here, or the forehead here, crescent. It is a crescent. It is actually just a forehead. Nothing more extravagant than that. There we go. Then what I'll do is I'll take the tip of my scissors and get it sort of stuck a little bit firmer against it. It doesn't need to be perfect. I'm going to be using metallic paints, so those metallic paints will Especially since...
Patrick,
Yeah.
dinner.
All right. All right. All right. So I'm going to have to go, folks. And I wish you a wonderful day. And be it night, evening, or morning. He's 5 minutes early with dinner. How exciting. And I hope you have a wonderful time. Think about saying yes as your default. And I'm going to leave it just like that, and we'll pick it up right from here. And in the next episode of Making Mannequin Heads with Planters, or Making Mannequin Heads into Planters, blah, whatever it is. And have a great day, and take a big breath. Oh, let it out. Now let's react to the world. Yes. All right. Put more love out in the world. There's not enough love. And give yourself lots of space to be you and to make mistakes and learn from them. And give lots of space to other people because they need it too. And it doesn't do you any good to be just reactionary against things that you can't control. We'll talk about control at some other point. All right. Have a wonderful day. Bye.